What's up, everyone? Welcome on into Cold Weather Bats. I am Michael Rubenstein, and I am here with Brandon Justice and Griffin Green. We are excited to bring you a new feature here at Cold Weather Bats. We are going to be talking all year on the Royal Oak Leprechauns and really what's going to be going on for them this season down at the Lucky Corner down there at 13 in Woodward. So now, before we dive into today's episode, we know that we do have some new folks tuning in. So to give a little background on Cold Weather Bats, I'm going to toss it on over to Mr. CWB Brandon Justice to explain a little bit about Cold Weather Bats and how we are a part of this.
What a nickname. I appreciate it. Yeah, so things have changed over the years. We started as a two-man show. Now we're a multi-man show. We started as just one show. Now we have three shows. Things have really changed around here, evolved a bit, but they remain the same. If you're not a Cold Weather Bats vet, then there might be some context you're missing and how we've gotten here. And instead of just talking about how we got here, it's more about where we're at now and what's ahead. So the guy up top to my left, Michael Rubenstein, I just call him Ruby. You could probably call him Ruby too. And then we got Griff Green, a.k.a. Bald Banter Guy, a.k.a. Tangent Guy, huge storyteller, loves the mic. These two guys are helping us captain the mothership that is CWB and take it to levels that we haven't seen it before. So when we started the show in 2021, it was like something that we wanted to do for the benefit of the players, to shine a light on them, as well as the coaches and just the area, because we think it's so underrated. And the coverage isn't nearly what kind of coverage you get for football, basketball even. And I thought that was just kind of an overlooked thing, because I think this might be and probably is the best sport in the state in terms of college talent of the main core sports. And so we set out to shine a light and grow the game in our state. We've definitely accomplished that through 4 seasons, now into the 5th season. But now it's time to take another step into the future and evolve a bit. What we're doing was originally a podcast. Now we are a media entity covering Michigan high school baseball, youth baseball, college baseball at large. And now we are dipping our toes into collegiate ball, partnering with the Royal Oak Leprechauns of the Northwoods League and putting ourselves on the map as a media company that does it all. So many more things to come. We'll detail it as we move on, but to just give you guys a little bit of a recap, kind of like when you turn the Netflix show on and you get that 30-second re-up, right? So now we turn the page. I hand it back over to Ruby. So Ruby, you go ahead.
Appreciate that, Brandon. As you mentioned, Cold Weather Bats really has always been about telling the stories of Michigan high school baseball. And this summer, like we just discussed, we're bringing that same energy to Royal Oak, covering a team that features 33 players from the state of Michigan. Countless guys are from right here in Metro Detroit. So for today's episode, it's going to be a season preview, if you will. We've got first-year head coach Chris Faust joining us to talk about his journey and the culture he's building, a little bit about his background and things to that extent. Then we are going to check in with Ryan Tyranski, one of not only the hottest hitters for the Leps, but in the entire Northwoods League thus far. He's already stepping up as a leader in that dugout, and we'll detail that in a little bit here. But before we get into all of that, let's bring in Griffin Green to officially introduce Cold Weather Bats audience to the 2025 Royal Oak Leprechauns. Griff, what should people know about this group, the Northwoods League, and that as a whole?
You know what the cool thing is about the Northwoods League and about the Royal Oak Leprechauns specifically is you're going to see a lot of Metro Detroit talent, right? With Faust leading the charge, with Riker behind the scenes, and even our good old friend Mark Sackett as well, right? Leading the charge from the GM position. They're trying to make a lot of noise in the Metro Detroit area. For a while, the Northwoods League only had, 2 teams in the state of Michigan, with Battle Creek Bombers back in the day, who yours truly played for. and the Kalamazoo Growlers. Now, about 5-6 years ago, you had the Traverse City Pit Spitters, coached by Coach Reeves, my former coach back in the day. And now you have the Royal Oak Leprechauns as well. So the cool thing about the Northwoods League, it's a long season. There's tons of baseball. It's the really only league out there, besides the Cape Cod League, obviously on the East Coast, that showcases players in a way that kind of gets them ready for, the minor league system, the minor league baseball, right? And these are some of the top players in the country, not just in the state of Michigan. They're the top players overall, in the entire country. You're going to see kids from Power 5 schools, teams that are in the College World Series, and there's going to be a lot of talent that comes across, these state lines, man, and I couldn't be more excited for it.
So before we get on into our interview with Coach Faust and Ryan, real quickly for those new to Cold Weather Bats, if you are looking to find us anywhere on whether it's social media or beyond, you can visit us by going to our website, coldweatherbats.com. We are on every single type of social media out there. Just put in the search bar Cold Weather Bats. We will pop right up. But with that said, let's go ahead and get right on into our interviews. Joining us now is a guy who knows the Leprechauns inside and out, from playing for the Irish Hills back in the day to now taking over as field manager for the 2025 season. He's a Bloomfield Hills native, Brother Rice alum, played his ball out at Grand Valley State, also won 2 Northwood League titles as a player with Traverse City. We are joined now by Coach Chris Faust. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Excited to be here.
So Chris, man, how's everything been going so far? How's the transition being from a player going into the coach now? You liking it, loving it? How's that been going?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. A lot of these kids, man, they're a lot more physical and capable to do a lot more things than I was ever capable to do. But it's cool watching them succeed. It's like a great group of kids. They love being around each other. And then you see those moments where something clicks, and then it's like, oh, man, yep, they got it. Let's go. The transition to coaching has been pretty easy on that end. I feel like I was ready to be done playing when I did hang them up. And now being on this side of the field, it's been a transition for sure. But, man, it's been fun.
No, that's awesome, man. So how many guys do we have from Michigan? I think the whole roster's, from Michigan. Tell us kind of, what your strategy was between you and Riker kind of going into that.
There's a lot of talent in the Metro Detroit area, right? So Riker, being at Brother Rice High School, he knows so many players that have been around. And when he got the responsibility to put the roster together last September, he kind of ran away with it. Him and I kind of went over guys who we liked, and just so many players to kind of choose from in the Metro Detroit area. And that was our goal, right? Everybody comes, lives at home, and then plays summer ball in a super competitive collegiate league. I mean, it's been almost done with our second week, and you can already tell that all these guys are meshing faster than anybody else that I've ever seen in this league. So it's definitely an advantage to start the season for sure.
So you've obviously seen a few different sides of this side of baseball. Collegiate league is kind of like the pipeline into when you get into like the professional summer leagues after college and everything. What's the biggest difference for you having played for like the Pit Spitters and more as opposed to playing and coaching here in this league?
With these guys, they're all motivated. Their main goal is to get to pro ball, right? So with the Northwoods League schedule, it is a 72-game season in about 76 days. So that is as close to a minor league schedule. Yeah, if the weather cooperates, for sure. But we like to get every game in here in the Northwoods. All right, they're traditionally known for playing every game possible, which I like. It forces these guys to be mentally tough, battle through some adversity there. But yeah, like these kids, they all want to move on to the next level, right? So it's not a challenge to motivate them to kind of put the work in and want to show up to the field every day, right? These kids, they want it for themselves. So I guess in my role here, it's kind of managing the people and less so like managing the motivation and putting in the hard work and trying to get them to I don't know, kind of like grind harder before games and stuff like that. So it's making sure everybody's staying healthy, staying locked in, talking about IQ, talking about hitting approach, pitching approach, like a lot more on the mental side that's going to keep them locked in for a 72 game season, so it's a little bit different compared to your high school summer ball, trying to get these guys skills and development ready to go to the next level. I feel like at this side of it, it's more about the mental, where we can kind of get them to see the game in a different light, broaden their perspective a little bit, and then let them kind of run with it.
I was going to say, what would you say is like the biggest hurdle from this stage to pro ball? Like, what's the biggest gap they need to bridge most commonly when you work with these guys?
I think like it's at this level, the skill aspect, everybody's getting closer and closer to like the same level of skill. Like you see this in all sports as you get closest to pro ball, right? So it comes down to just like the consistency of it. Like if you can be consistent with a wood bat hitting in this league for 72 games, pitcher, you can be consistent in the strike zone, go out there, compete every time. And then, the mental side of it, where you're going to have a lot of bad days, but can you overcome that and just keep showing out, keep sticking to your routine, and then just let the process kind of let everything else fall into place, if that kind of makes sense.
So Chris, if there's people that are tuning in, whether they're watching this or listening to this, and they might not be familiar with who the Royal Oak Leprechauns are, explain a little bit about what you guys are, the Northwoods League as a whole, and really everything that if someone that doesn't know about the Leprechauns should know.
Yeah, so one of the main questions I get asked is this pro baseball? And I have to tell a lot of people, I say, no, this is collegiate summer league baseball, where we get players from all over the country. They're at their school in the spring. They come play with us in the summer, and then we send them back to school, hopefully a better player and a better person. So it's kind of like a stepping stone into the pro ball, but super competitive league, right? We see players get picked up, drafted out of here all the time. Last season, we had 2 of our pitchers get drafted mid-season, so it's kind of like a segue right into pro baseball, if you will. But again, it's collegiate summer league. So this is a spot where all these guys come in and develop all their skills and the mental side of the game. They get to play with a bunch of different people who are learning different things at school, and then they all kind of learn from each other once they get here. We have a couple D3 guys that are sharing the field with guys from Notre Dame, Cincy, Michigan State, right? So they're going to go back to their D3 school learning something, and then they're going to take it back and teach the guys around them what they learn, right? So as far as Northwoods League baseball goes, it is a beast of a machine, right? Like we got 72 games, really close to pro baseball, playing in front of fans, filling out stadiums. It's just a great experience overall from both the player perspective and the fan perspective. So the collegiate summer ball, man, it's awesome.
How do you manage all the pitch counts, with your arms, right? Especially when you have guys who have thrown innings, like I think Brady Belair, who played for Ryan back in the day for us. Like,
yep.
How do you manage, pitch counts for him and other guys to make sure they're not throwing too much? Do you work with college coaches? How does it all work?
Yeah, so we do a bit of scouting before season 2 on all the guys that we have coming in, depending on how many innings they had at school, what kind of role they had. We factored a couple different things in to making our decisions with that. As for our squad right now, we've been kind of easing guys into it. We're building guys up for this first couple weeks here. But it's a work in progress. We have our pitching coach, Logan Wood, this summer. He's been awesome. He's been on top of it. He's got our pitchers laid out in about like a 30-day span, and kind of keeping track of days rest, pitch counts, how many innings they were throwing, and everything in between. So there's a couple different factors go into it, but as far as early in the season, try to be lighter and then build up guys as the season gets rolling, because it is 72 games.
So you guys have built this roster with 33 players from the Michigan area, like we touched on here. Who are some of the players that you think fans should really keep an eye on this summer?
Ryan Tyranski is one. He'll be on the pod later. But yeah, no, he's a redshirt freshman out of Cincinnati. Didn't get an opportunity this year, but you saw what Cincinnati did, and they made the regional. They balled out this year, so he's going to play a big part of their success moving forward. And he's off to a hot start this season. So he's one of the guys to look out for. Grant Bradley, he's on the mound. He goes to Michigan. He's lights out, right? Super competitive. He can throw multiple pitches for strikes, and he just loves to win games. You got Tristan Crane. He was at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He's kind of like the under the radar guy, right? Where he's not the loud celebrator. Like, he doesn't make a lot of noise, but you look at that stat sheet after the game and he's putting up all the numbers, right? He's a two-way guy. He's starting at shortstop, and he's a pitcher too, right? And I think he already got pitcher of the night the other night in the league. So he's a guy. Chase Vandermeed at Notre Dame. He's a guy. He's about 92 from the side. Like, his arm and his knee scrapes the ground when he delivers his pitch, right? It's tough to hit. I'm glad that I'm not hitting anymore, just because there's guys like that are out there. But yeah, no, we got a lot of players that are good to watch. A lot of different types of players, right? You got weird, funky pitchers, consistent right-handed hitters, big lefties. Like, we got a little bit of everything on this roster.
Now, Chris, I know you played when it was Great Lakes League.
Yep.
I guess what's the biggest difference you've seen from playing in the Great Lakes League versus, coaching in the Northwoods League? What's the biggest separator there as far as leagues go?
The schedule and the travel, right? So in the Great Lakes, I think we played about 42 games, and now we got 72 in this league. And the travel in the Great Lakes was mostly Michigan, Ohio. I think we went West Virginia, somewhere around there. But like, we had a 7-hour bus trip out to Madison on Monday, and then you play that night. So it's a little bit different of an animal. But as far as like baseball goes, I think that your pitchers will probably be thrown a little bit harder in the Northwoods League, a little bit more competitive in a sense, just because of that. But the Great Lakes League still a really good ball, right? Everybody's getting better. It's competitive baseball games. So, I think just like the schedule is probably the biggest thing in the travel.
How do you manage? So when it comes to guys leaving for the portal and the guys who are kind of transitioning and stuff like that, are there going to be college coaches kind of reaching out to you saying like, hey, listen, like, we want to see this kid at this position because so and so's in the portal, stuff like that. Do you guys do any portal management and help out with any of that?
So that's going to be new to me. We haven't had any yet. Portal just opened, and we've got a couple of guys in the portal right now. So I know they've been in talks about like going on visits and whatnot. I haven't been in contact with any coaches quite yet, but I'm not going to be surprised when they do come asking about them, right? As a college coach, you want to know who your players are coming in. You want to see if they're going to fit into your culture and your program with what you have going on. So, yeah, if I were a college coach, I would be reaching out to their summer ball coaches and, just kind of seeing how they play the game, how they go about their business is probably the biggest aspect of that.
So from what I've heard talking with other Leprechauns people and having some friends attend games as well, Memorial Park is, you guys sell it out. You guys pack it in there. Seems to have a real neighborhood feel, right? It's right on Woodward as well. How would you describe the energy of a home game there this year already?
Oh, like we started off our first 6 games at home, and it was fantastic, right? We had a couple elementary school kids days. We had the Royal Oak Sandlot League come out. We ran a little bit of a camp with them, stayed involved. But yeah, I think we were selling out the stadium every game, minus the one rainy day. But no, it's awesome. The fans, like they're right on top of you. There's a chain link fence, so you just kind of are up against the fence. It's a really good feel, right? When they all go crazy for a big hit or a strikeout, and just the atmosphere, the energy that they bring, it is awesome for our guys to play in front of that, and for the fans to be as engaged as they are. Makes for a good time.
You guys don't have any downriver guys on the roster this year, but you do have 2 Huron guys. So what can you say about Gavin Muzzy and Luke Cole and what you've seen from them so far?
Yeah, so Muzzy, he was with us last summer, and love that kid, right? Like, he's a true competitor. He'll get on the mound, he'll throw strikes, and he'll just be competitive in the zone, right? So I just love giving him the ball, feel super comfortable having him out there. All the players love playing behind him. And yeah, he's just a gamer. And then Luke Call, he's new to us this year, but he's had a couple outings where he's throwing 3 pitches for strikes consistently. And, he's a little bit quiet right now, but probably because he's new to the squad. But you talk to him a little bit one-on-one, high energy, wants to be here, wants the ball in those situations. And I think he's going to play a big piece for our success this summer as well.
For you guys getting off to a great start thus far, what does a successful season look to you beyond really that win-loss record as well?
Yeah, beyond wins and losses, number one, everybody stays healthy, right? I want to send these kids back to their schools, healthy ball players, ready to get after it in the fall. Number two, hopefully that they learn something about the game, right? They see it in a different perspective. They have just new friends that they've made that they keep talking to throughout their spring seasons, right? So, like, as far as a success would be just them being together the whole time. Everybody wants to be here. They stick it all the way through. They go to school a better player. And honestly, they just have fun, get exposed a little bit. If we get guys drafted mid-season, that's a huge bonus. But yeah, like, the development aspect of it is probably the biggest piece. And I believe that the wins and losses, like, that's a byproduct of how these guys are together, right? So if we just focus on playing the game the right way, throwing strikes, putting hard contact in play, catching the ball on defense, the game in the simplest form, if we can just do that better than the other team every night, we're going to walk away with 40 plus wins in this league, right? So as far as successes go, yeah, like, just all the little things about the game and developing these guys, sending them back to school better.
Only thing I would ask is, so far, from a coaching perspective, like, what's the biggest thing you've learned and the best opportunity you've had for, I don't know if there's been like a lesson along the way so far. I know it's been a short stint to begin, but is there anything you've learned so far?
Yeah, like, having no ego, right? That's a big piece where, like, these guys, they can all play the game. They've got high IQs. As far as, like, coaching them as players, kind of just letting them play. I want to see what these guys have, what they bring to the table, give them the freedom to make some decisions out there and let them be. And then we'll talk about it. Right. But having no ego where I can let my assistant coaches kind of run some things, to have the players have their own game plan, their strategy, talk through it a little bit, guide them in the right direction, obviously, but not just throwing my piece at them and be like, hey, this is what we're doing because that's how I like to do it. This is an opportunity for me to learn from these guys, right? I'm still a student of the game. I've got a lot of areas where I can still grow. So just kind of letting them go, and just kind of being there, making sure we're going in the right direction, but not overdoing it and making things too complicated or putting my own piece on everything that we do.
So we are going to be going into talking with Ryan Tyranski here shortly. You've seen him already for a couple of weeks. No one probably better to give an intro of him. What can you tell us about him that we might not know and haven't seen that you're seeing every single day?
Yeah, so Raitai is a funny one. So, like, our family they've been close friends since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So I've been around Raitai since he has grown up, right? And watched him all through high school, watch him play at this level and be so successful. So, yeah, he's just a great kid, really fun to be around. His IQ of the game is unlike any player that I've been around. His photographic memory for every pitcher that he's ever seen is unbelievable. But yeah, really, really excited to see him get a full season this summer and just kind of take off and show everybody what he's got after not getting opportunities his freshman year at Sensi. So just really excited for the kid to keep going, man.
All right, Ryan. Well, that's some kind of intro there to get us going into this. Welcome to the show. Appreciate
it.
Coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
So kind of like we just touched on here, we are now joined with Ryan Tyranski from the University of Cincinnati. And really, let's just start with that before we kind of get into the summer. Tell us about your journey, how you ended at the University of Cincinnati, how your year went, and how it's going thus far with the Leprechauns.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. My first year, obviously, Coach B, had a former connection with him at Central Michigan. Made a late decision to decommit from CMU, and ultimately, right out of the gate, Coach B gave Riker a call and said, "Hey, we'll take him." And obviously, like I said, I had a prior connection with him. I was one of the big reasons I committed to CMU, and went there, and like I said, enjoyed every minute of it. We had an awesome team this year, really good leadership. I don't know if you guys heard Carrington Cross. He was awesome for us this year. Really good mentor for me, from the position of a redshirt freshman. So he was in that exact same spot 4 years ago. So talking to him throughout the year, that was huge. And really getting a good grip on what I needed to do this summer to be successful and come back next year playing like a true sophomore, not like a freshman. So
what's the biggest difference for you going from and transitioning from high school baseball to college baseball and now into collegiate summer ball in a really Premier League?
I will say last year I got to play in the Northwoods as a high school senior, and that definitely helped out my transition. I didn't think, like I was saying, I didn't think I was really super green when I started at Cincinnati. I was kind of had a head start on some guys, and that was nice. Even some like the D2, D3 guys, I felt like I was kind of on par with, so that was nice. Obviously, the D1 guys are already had a year in the Big 12 and stuff, so those guys not completely up with those dudes, but all the other freshmen, I felt like I kind of had a kickstart on, which was nice. And the transition from high school, obviously, we always say Michigan high school is probably one of the most underrated in the country, and I think that's a very true statement. And so it hasn't been completely, that to the Big 12 hasn't been like the complete mind blowing of seeing pitchers that are throwing. Obviously, we're gonna see a few guys that are 99 here and there, but it's a low 90s and with some movement. But I've been seeing that kind of for 4 years now, especially in the Catholic League. So it's been a tough transition to the speed of the game and stuff like that. But in terms of hitting and defense, it hasn't been all that different just because I've been playing such high level baseball my whole life.
What are some key takeaways from freshman year? Obviously redshirting, but what are some of the things that guys have either told you to focus on, or some of the things that you want to focus on in kind of transition into summer? And sorry for all the loud crap back there. That's on me. That's on me, boys. But what are some of the key takeaways and stuff that you've been trying to focus on this summer?
So obviously, I don't know if you guys have seen Cincinnati. We're a huge running and bunting team. We love the short game. So I think that's been a huge thing to kind of key on for me this summer. Is I really need, especially as a first baseman, I think if I can steal bases and lay the bunt down here and there, that's not really something that any defense is going to expect a first baseman to run and bunt the ball. So if I can do that, I think I can really help our offense. And then from a defensive standpoint, just kind of shoring up the small things, picking the ball better, being athletic at first, just stuff that's not really usual for a first baseman to do. I think from a power standpoint and stuff, I'm pretty good there. Contact, hitting the ball well. So I just need to keep doing what I'm doing from an offensive standpoint and defensively, and on the short game, kind of shore up a few things to make sure I'm a power 5 level player, power 4, I guess you can say now.
You a big early work guy?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I asked that is because I played with your brother in summer ball way back in the day.
That's the way, right?
And listen, dude, he was a show and go guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him all the crap in the world, dude. Mitch was a show and go guy. So, being that your brother played college baseball, he's playing pro ball now. He continues to play pro ball now, right? Have you leaned on him, in some of the tougher moments, as a freshman? And what kind of advice has he given you over the last few years?
Yeah, 100%. I think definitely in the fall, just getting used to stuff, kind of just like I said, getting used to the college experience and college baseball and stuff. It was definitely an adjustment, just kind of getting there, and especially knowing you're in a spot where you're the youngest guy again, and it's kind of like being at a place you're the senior, you're the leader, and you go back to being a freshman again. It's kind of can be tough on you a little bit. So I think I leaned on him, a lot of phone calls. He obviously had a very busy fall, trying to get ramped up and trying to get his name up there in the system. So he had a lot of like very busy fall, but he really helped me out in terms of adjusting to everything and just, you know, telling me what I got to do in terms of the weight room and competing every day.
So obviously you're off to a pretty hot start, to say the least. I think I saw you're batting 500 as of Wednesday. What is really your personal goals for this summer? Obviously, I assume leading the entire league and hitting after 2 weeks probably wasn't at the top of the list, but what were some of the things that you've kind of set out to want to accomplish for this summer?
Really, I don't think I'm really stats driven guy. Like, it's really just trying to get better. And like I said, shore up the things that, you know, the coaches need me to do to be in the lineup next year. And part of that's really having a steady approach. We have two different approaches, obviously 2K and pre-2K, really hunting the fastball, seeing the ball in my inner half of the plate and getting good pitches to hit. And the guy hangs a curveball, he's going to hang a curve. We got to do some damage with it. And like I said, just doing damage to pitches that are mistakes and taking the pitches that are executed.
What do you think's the hardest transition for a high school player to get ready to be an offensive player at this level?
That's a good one. I'd say really it's like I said, especially Michigan specifically, like the velo's you're not seeing crazy different velo to college level, but I'd say definitely the off speed stuff. There's a lot of different, obviously the way guys are tunneling stuff is much different than what we see. It's a lot of more get me over stuff in high school and just guys trying to mix up you from the fastball. But here it's really, you're seeing sliders that look like fastballs until they're 2 feet in front of you. So I'd say, you know, just getting used to that, knowing that you're going to see really good off-speed stuff, and having like I said, really stable approach and, you know, resetting your eyes, knowing what you're looking for. And I'd say that's the biggest thing.
I know a lot of you guys played high school ball in Michigan.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of carry that chip on your shoulder when you go on these trips? I know it's early in the season and everything, but having been on the team last year as well, is that something you guys carry with you and you kind of like bond over in a way?
Yeah, totally. I think we're a very well-rounded team and very well put together, like in terms of camaraderie and stuff. Like we're all guys, like even the dudes that I've never even played a game against, like I know just because we're all from the same area. Like Muzzy and Colin, you guys were talking about them. Like I really never played against them, but I played with Muzzy last year. But Call, like I had never known personally until this year, but I knew of him. Going to App State and stuff. So just guys like that. And then obviously there's a few other guys. We got like Nick Brady he's from Tallahassee, and then a couple other dudes, but guys from all over. But the core group of Michigan dudes has been really great to have around. And I think all the other dudes from other places have really melded well with us, and that's been really good.
How's the travel been? You guys loving the bus rides yet?
Yeah,
Or what?
so this is only our first bus trip, but we're on a 5-day trip right now, and it's been really fun. Like I said, with the group of guys that we have, like I said, we've all been playing together for a really long time, either with or against each other. So it's been really fun to get back with all these guys, and like I said, we really mesh well, so it's been really fun.
You guys just ripping Mafia on the bus or what?
So much moff.
Love that.
Yeah, a little
Love
bit of
every second
moff,
of that.
a little bit Among Us, some poker. Really just anything we can do to pass the time, but it's been a blast, man.
You guys rip Mafia with the Godfather or no?
Oh yeah, Godfather, a couple
to.
recruits.
Yeah, the best, man. Those games are the best.
We learned as we went into this that you and Chris Faust have a little bit of you guys have known each other for just a little while. How has it been being able to play under him for this summer thus far, and really the rest of the summer?
It's been great. Obviously, I've looked up to him my whole life. Like him being at Rice, he played with my brothers, so he's been awesome throughout his entire career. And as soon as I learned that he was coaching us this summer, I was super excited for me. So obviously I've had a really great connection with him my whole life. I've went to school with two of his brothers. Obviously, he grew up with both of my brothers, and I grew up with his entire family. His mom and my mom are like best friends, so it's been great playing under him. We have a really great relationship, so it's been awesome.
I know I probably asked about Mitch probably 45 times by now. So do you guys ripping live at bats? What's the career average?
So actually, we did. So he had a little short stint after he got released from LA last year, and he came home for about 2 weeks before he got picked up by Chicago. But he came home just trying to stay hot, and he took some lives against our Rice guys last year, and he absolutely carved the heck out of us, and it was pretty terrible. But probably the worst at bat I've ever taken in my life. But it was fun to step in there against them. But I hope if I ever see him again, I don't look that stupid. So. It was tough.
It's a different level, man. Pro guys are a different level.
Right. Yeah, he threw a curveball that started at my eyes, and I turned away, and then it was right down the middle. So I just walked out of the cage after that.
That's a tough look. That's a tough look because then you got to go home and face it too. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for our first episode of our partnership podcast with the Royal Oak Leprechauns. Big thanks to Head Coach Chris Faust and Ryan Tyranski for joining us. Guys, really from our conversation there, this group is built to win, it seems like, and built to not only, I mean, as Coach Faust was saying, they're built to develop this entire year and get better every game. A lot of games.
Lots of games, boys. I mean, we're talking about 72 games in 76 days. You kidding me? Backwards hat had to come on for the outro, boys.
Are you kidding me?
mean, are you kidding me? But hey, before we get into a little bit of the breakdown, like, comment, subscribe to the Patreon and Cold Weather Bats. We should have a logo down here, Rube, so I could point to something. All right.
There's one top right, pal.
Yeah, but I need a link right there.
Okay.
We got to put a link right. All right, boys. What a interview. Are you kidding me? 72 games in 76 days. My body could not hold together if I tried. I mean, I would be an absolute disaster. I played a men's league game last weekend. I can't even walk for 3 days. Imagine 72 games in 76 days. But that's why this is one of the best leagues in the country. We get the boys ready for the minor league baseball, hopefully. Cross the fingers, hopefully. But we get the boys ready. We're getting them fired up. Let's go, Leps. Let's win the woods, baby. Let's win the woods.
Let's go, Leps. Let's go, Leps. Michigan baseball. It's better, more competitive, just gamers. Well represented on this team. So excited to follow along this season and keep up with them during their journey of 72 games in 76 days.
Awesome. Now remember, Brandon, comment, subscribe down here.
LCS,
subscribe,
comment.
Be a friend, tell a friend. If your buddy isn't subscribed, but you are, we might do a little referral program, maybe. Right, Rube? Might do a little referral program.
Hey, we can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want.
Be a friend, tell a friend. Hashtag BAFTAF. Look at that. That's our new program. Be a friend, tell a friend.
BFL, baby.
This is good.
All right. But listen, we love you. We love everyone here. Send us home, Rube.
Well, with that said, thank you all for tuning on in. If you've made it all the way through to the end of this episode, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? First off, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star review. Find us on every single social media, and we will see you next week.